We just finished releasing Scary Tales for Around the Fire. I put the link to the playlist down below where you can listen to every single chapter absolutely free on YouTube now. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of the future audiobooks that we release as well. Speaking of the which, we're starting a new one today. This is David's latest book, Judah's Night. Yi Nadloshi, aka Skinwalker. Definition: in the Navajo language, the term translates, by means of it, he goes on all fours. Lycanthropy. Noun. The supernatural transformation of a person into a wolf, as recounted in folk tales. Also, a form of madness involving the delusion of being an animal, usually a wolf, with correspondingly altered behavior. Sir John Talbot. Yes, that's the sign of the werewolf. Larry Talbot. That's just a legend though, isn't it? Sir John Talbot. Yes, but like most legends, it must have some basis in fact. It's probably an ancient explanation of the dual personality in each of us. How does it go? Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. The Wolfman, 1941. Prologue. Written confession from unknown author. Discovered in Alaska wilderness, approximately 42 miles from the town of Dane. Discovered with body. Body unable to be identified due to self-inflicted gun wound. Guessed to be written in the year of 1889. Translated from Russian. I can feel it again, moving inside me. The devil squirms in me like a worm wriggling in the dirt. The devil does his work through me. I'm unwilling, but still the worm moves. Weeks have passed since I saw myself covered in their blood. Although it's washed away now, it stains my hands still. As far as I can tell, there's no blood left on my hands in actuality, but I still see it every day. I wash them always still. In every town that I pass through with access to water, in every river or stream that I wander by, I wash them. I see the blood in my mind. I see it now even as I write. I want this to be my confession. I want people to know what I've done, but I want them to know that I had no choice in the matter. It gets hungry, you see. When it happens, I can feel the hunger. My efforts to contain the yearnings of the worm have all been in vain. I have found no way to escape it, and now I have nowhere left to run. What I've done cannot be justified. It can't be forgiven, although I still beg the Lord Jesus for it. I yearn for mercy from heaven. Surely I deserve eternal damnation, but I have already suffered much. Surely this life has given me enough punishment already, that I might be welcomed through those pearly gates, that I might walk the golden streets with the saints. What's happened to me is not fair. There is no justice in it. Of course, there was no justice for the ones I've hurt either. The things I've done that I had no say in doing. I do not remember much, merely images like that of a vague dream. I can see the woman's horrified face as I break down the door. I can see oh Lord, forgive me, the boy's tears. But I can't stop. It won't let me. Even on the rare occasions that I am able to slumber, I hear their voices, their cries of terror. There they stand in the dark corners of my room, their flesh falling from the ghoulish wounds the worm inflicted. I close my eyes to blot them out, but I know they are there. I know they will never leave me, for all my nights now belong to them, a claim they justly laid on my life. And as much as it horrifies me to see and know, they are welcome to it. It is the least they deserve. In my foggiest recollection, I remember what the woman's voice sounded like when I came into her room. Her pleas for mercy. I do not remember clearly, moment for moment, but the flashes I receive alone are enough to cause the chills on my skin. Her wailing for the man to come and save them. But he never came. No, he never came. Then I call out into the night. I called out for the other. My brother joined me in my calls. For so long, the only thing I could thank God for was the fact that I never had to endure this hell alone. My brother was always there, suffering with me. He was always the thing that made me continue, to continue breathing, to go on living this nightmare. He would tell me that we would make it through these dark days. He would say that our demons would soon be filled, and that they would leave us to no longer wander in the cold dark, searching for the blood. The blood. God in heaven, why has this consumed me? Why did you let this thing have its way with us for so long? What sin did we commit to deserve so much of your wrath? My brother has kept me going all along. But now, that American devil. From a certain point of view, I suppose I am justified in my actions. In a way, I see how his judgment was passed through my hands. After that night, we wandered into the forest. We ran as fast as we could, but my brother, he left so much of his own blood along the way. We couldn't go on. We had to stop for his sake. He told me to run. He told me to keep going while I could, but that he could no longer follow. That man beat him over the skull with something. He beat him until his head was fractured, and it burned him. He told me as we ran of how it burned him. He had taken a scalding, or at least that's what he kept saying. He didn't need to say this, though. I could smell it as we ran. The smell of burning flesh. The smell of death. I buried him there in the forest. The forest where we were forced to spend most of our adult lives. I wept for him. His wounds were too much. I couldn't save him. I couldn't save anything. This demon can only kill. It can only take, but never give. Even now, sitting under this massive oak, I can see the moon rising. I can feel its rays starting to penetrate the brown leaves of the tree. They sting tonight, just as they do every time. A tremulous sensation I feel down in my arms. If I had rolled through the pine needles and snow, stripped naked, it would be less of a sensation than this. Afterward, a numbness begins to course through my body, and the demon begins to awaken. I can hear it moaning from deep inside. I can hear its claws scratching underneath my skin, digging, trying to get out. My bones begin to feel stretched, like they're being flattened or broken. It hurts each time. I scream again. The pain is so much that on every occurrence I am on the verge of losing consciousness. The colors in the world start to swirl and fade as the pain deepens. Eventually, all fades to a deep crimson, perhaps a constant reminder of the blood I have spilled, so I may never turn my eyes from it. The picture of what I see now is framed in bright red due to the suffering I have caused so many innocents. As my skin stretches like silky fabric, gut-wrenching cracking sounds echo through the cavity of my skull, and the bone grows and pops into new order. The flesh on my face pulls with such excruciating torment that I always fear it might tear. There's no more slack to give, and then the matted coarse hair begins to stab its way through. The hair comes through like razor blades, only piercing me from the inside. I feel every bit of this as it happens. I feel every horrible pang of pain while the demon awakens, while the worm comes to the surface. Every night it occurs, I perceive that I should die. It feels as though it is more than a mere man can bear, that the demon will finally destroy me once and for all, just like it has destroyed so many other lives. And every time I am proven to be wrong. The pain eventually subsides, then the hunger starts. The hunger of the beast, the hunger of an animal. The insatiable cramping of the deep body. It is no mere hunger, though. It is an insatiable need for the causing of such horrors that cannot even be seen in the darkest parts of a mortal's imagination. It is so against holiness and goodness that the worm's only true desire is to destroy all good things. Not this night, however. I won't do it again. I refuse to face another night of the damned, the devil's night. I had my brother before to keep me courageous. No more. My brother is gone now, and I cannot do this alone. I'm scared of what is to come. I cannot describe the sort of terror that comes from facing a demon when the only true demon is yourself. I can feel the moon beginning to change me, but before it completes its unholy sorcery, I know what I must do. I know the choice that must be made. This pistol was my brother's. I melted down some coins I had from long ago. I see now that this is the only way, and if by some means it doesn't work, that my aim might not be true, then God have mercy on my soul for what I might do tonight. God have mercy on me for what I do now. This is the only way. The Lord knows this is the only way for me to get out. The only choice I have for me to take away this vessel that the demon has claimed. After this, it shall have its blood no more. End confession. Part 1. The Three Lucky Swedes, The Rush to the North, and the Man Who Didn't Care. Article from the Dawson Daily Newspaper, dated January 18, 1900. Headline: Animal attack leaves 9 men dead in town of Dane. Article: A strangely unpredictable encounter with what the local sheriff, William Henry Tolles, believes to be a large and possibly ill wild animal plagued the small town of Dane, Alaska on the night of January 15th. 9 bodies were found dismembered in several areas around the town over the course of 2 days, including the train station and the small local tavern known as Lucky's. When questioned, the sheriff said that the animal was most likely a large bear that came off the mountain with the fever, and that it had probably seen the lights from the town and decided to investigate further. Town barber James Francis Gavin was willing to give a short statement on the matter, as no one else would. "Just a bear, is all it was. The town's building it up bigger than what actually happened. Just a mad bear came down and had its way with a few unlucky folks. One of those strange parts of life for us up north that we just have to deal with in our own way from time to time. It's gone now, so nothing to worry about no more." When asked about whether or not there was a plan to protect the townsfolk from further animal attacks, Sheriff Tolles had this to say. "We have not discussed any plans of that sort. It's not the first such attack to take place up here, but it is the first to happen within the town limits. Since I am inclined to believe that the beast was not well, which likely prompted its sudden visit, I'm sure there will be no such bravery in the future. Just a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence is all. No need for anyone in town to worry." It is still not yet confirmed whether or not the attack was a bear, but folks around the towns of Dane and Dawson have been warned not to approach any of the wildlife in case the sheriff's reports are accurate. Residents of Dane have also been warned not to hunt for the animal, as doing so could be extremely dangerous given the circumstances. Funeral services were held for all of the town's victims that were discovered on the following Saturday, and they were buried in Dane Cemetery, just north of the First Baptist Church of Dane. The rest of the town's residents were accounted for except for one man. For him, the search continues.